Today can be the turning point in your life by making a simple decision.
Fundamental questions of navigation. Where am I? Where am I going? And how do I get there from here?
I invite the leaders of our planet to ask themselves these three questions before they make any crucial decisions.
But if you don't make decisions, you're going to stay right where you are.
We are all map makers.
We are in a time of transition.
If we're going to change, we have to change the direction that we're going.
Our planet needs leaders who know where they want to go.
When we change the direction we're going, then we want to make sure we're going in the right direction.
Leaders who can see the big picture.
Because if we're not, we're going to either go backwards or we're going to stay where we are.
Recognizing the psychological and the spiritual shifts and changes that need to be made, often from the inside to the outside.
To be able to shape your future, you have to be willing and able to change your paradigm.
Complex journeys require navigation. The path to the truth is one such journey. This is your GPS. Hairstyling services provided by J.D. Edwards Salon and Spa, Palmdale Shopping Plaza, Madera Street. Accessories provided by Chevette Williamson Jewelry. Standout jewelry for standout women.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to GPS Global Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5 FM. I am your host, Michelle Malcolm, and as always, it's a pleasure to be in your company today. Thank you so much for tuning in and making GPS a part of your afternoon routine on this beautiful Friday afternoon, here coming to you live from New Providence, beautiful island of New Providence, which is, for those of you who are not familiar, where our capital sits in the beautiful islands of the Bahamas. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We call this show every Friday TGIF Open Line, because we treat this as an open line show whereby we invite you, our audience, to serve as our co-host, and we talk about the week that was and anything else you guys want to talk about. Now, once again, we are not airing on radio here in New Providence due to technical difficulties, and we apologize to our New Providence audience for that. But you can definitely catch us on Facebook, on the official Michelle Malcolm and Global 99.5 FM pages. You can also check us on our YouTube channels. To call in, the numbers are 3260271, 3260271, 3260272, 3260272, and the WhatsApp line for messages and texts is 8010271, 8010271. You can also download the Global 99.5 FM app and check us out there. And of course, a huge welcome to our audience coming by way of Grand Bahama. A special shout out to you guys there. We are working on the technical difficulties that we're experiencing here in New Providence, and we will get back on air on radio here in New Providence as quickly as we can. They are working to get that matter resolved. So hopefully sooner than later, like next week sometime, we will be back on air, hopefully, for our radio audience here in New Providence. So every Friday around these parts, obviously I'm coming to you from home today, but every Friday around these parts, we do an open line show where you guys get to sort of help direct where we go with the show. I try to prepare clips in anticipation of where we could possibly go But you guys have quite a bit of influence over the direction that we take on our TGIF Friday show. So once again, the numbers to call 3260271, 3260271, 3260272, 3260272, and the WhatsApp line for messages and calls is 801-0271, 801-0271. So, quite a lot to talk about. I want to begin today's show uh, talking about what seems to be a continuing problem in this country as it relates to our justice system. We would have heard of recently the assault um, and rape of an 83-year-old woman here in New Providence, allegedly beaten and physically and sexually assaulted. Police recently came out and said they have a suspect in custody, a teenager who is who has been charged or who's being accused of that heinous crime. What is concerning beyond the fact that an 83-year-old woman was attacked and raped is the fact that the police are saying that the person responsible for that heinous crime, they believe, is the same person who would have allegedly raped a 17-year-old girl. Very recently, there was in the news story of a young lady who caught a ride with someone she didn't know, and the person allegedly took her to their home and sexually assaulted her. The police believe that the perpetrator of both crimes is one and the same. I'm going to play a clip from our Commissioner of Police talking about why they believe that individual to be the perpetrator. But something more important, well, I shouldn't say more important, something important that the Commissioner said as it relates to our judicial system, which would allow someone allegedly responsible for such a heinous crime to be back on the streets to commit the crime allegedly yet again. Listen to this sound bite, this clip from the Commissioner of Police.
We have an adult male in custody who we know was arrested shortly after. He is being monitored and he is on bail for similar offense. He is assisting police with that investigation. Also, the matter that occurred last week, Friday, where a young lady was sexually assaulted in the Davis Street area. He is also assisting police with that investigation. When detectives went to his home, jewelries that were taken from that incident was located and identified by the victim. So we know that we are on the right track with respect to the individual. And we continue to say that the culprits who continues like a revolving door. This is an individual who should not have been on bail because he went back in his old ways. And I'm pleading for the system. We need to get it right because it's the same revolving door. We see the same individuals continue to offend.
You know, we are always very quick to point fingers at the police and what the police are or aren't doing as it relates to the fight against crime. But I think that plea from the Commissioner of Police speaks volumes. Because I dare say that perhaps our system is broken somehow. that would allow for someone accused of such a heinous crime to be put back on the street only to allegedly commit the same crime again on another victim. And I get the argument that you have to grant bail to persons who are accused of these serious crimes like murder, etc., because with the backlog of cases that we have in the country, persons are presumed innocent until proven guilty, and you have such a long backlog of cases that a person could spend years in prison before their case actually comes before the court. So it wouldn't be fair to not grant that person bail, and then they end up, in court, sorry, behind bars for years before their case is finally heard. And then what if the person is found to be innocent? They would have spent all these years in prison. I understand that argument. I truly do. However, what I would like to know is what is stopping us from appointing more judges, establishing more courts, to allow for cases to move faster than they are moving now? What is to stop that from happening? So Citizens for a Better Commonwealth of the Bahamas say, Michelle, we cannot blame the justice system. It starts at home, and in the community it starts to revolve the door. Yeah, I get that, and I'm not disputing that. But my point is, if the crime has already been committed, okay, I'm not right now talking about the social ills that are leading to persons committing crime. I'm talking about once the crime has already been committed, right? We are having, or decisions are being made to put potentially violent criminals back on the street because we say we have to grant them bail because otherwise it would be unconstitutional to keep them incarcerated for so long that they end up unjustly behind bars before their cases even come up. So help me understand what is preventing us from appointing more judges to try to deal with this problem of the backlog of cases. And for the record, this problem is not unique to the Bahamas, but other countries have found a way to address it. I dare say some of them using Bahamian talent. I just saw, I think it was yesterday, someone who put in the chat group that I'm a part of on WhatsApp about how I believe it's New Guinea that appointed 6 new judges to try to help to deal with their backlog of cases. And one of the 6 people that was appointed was none other than a Bahamian in the person of, I want to get the name right. Where was that originally posted? John Kerry was appointed a judge in Papua New Guinea to help with their backlog of cases. He's a Bahamian who has served in Parliament. He had 1 term in Parliament. And clearly, he's also, has a legal background. His great experience working with the civil service because he served 1 term as a member of Parliament here in the Bahamas. And he has now been appointed as a judge in Papua New Guinea because they too are trying to address their backlog problem. But if the police continue to arrest these young men or young women who are committing these crimes, and as fast as they put them before the courts, they put right back onto the street. I mean, we've heard of cases where one individual is going before the courts multiple times for multiple murders, and they keep giving them bail. Make it make sense. The reason I'm bringing this up too is because I don't know how many of you remember the case several years ago of a video went viral with this man repeatedly stabbing his then estranged girlfriend, who was holding their infant child at the time. And if that were not bad enough, and I understand the reason why he decided to try and take his own life is because he tried to get back with her and she decided she didn't want to get back with him, so that deserved death in his mind. Repeatedly stabs the woman while she's holding the infant child, and then if that were not enough, decided to run over her with his car. He was trying to make sure she died, but she survived. His case finally comes up years later. He gets a plea deal, and he, in essence, has been sentenced to 15 years in prison. He served already 1 year. 15 years. How do you measure? How does the justice system measure what kind of sentencing is given to persons who commit such acts? And they say that this man has today still is displaying zero, none, not a remorse for his actions, because his attitude still is, this woman ruined his life. So in 14 short years, because he's already served 1 year, and time goes by very quickly, he will be back on the street again unless he's given more time off for good behavior while in prison. It's these kinds of things that make people question as to whether our judicial system is broken. And again, this is not to say that we don't have social ills that lead to this savagery that we see happening in our country today. I'm not disputing that we have social ills. I'm just now looking at one aspect of the problem, which is what happens after the fact. When the police have done their job, they've done the investigation, they've arrested the person, they put them before the courts, and yet the person is put right back on the street or is given what some might consider to be a lenient sentence for committing heinous acts, such as were done to that woman. We got to get this right, y'all. It cannot be where you are allegedly, where you're accused of multiple murders. You You got murder cases before the courts now, and they let you out, and you come out, and you allegedly do the same thing again because you obviously have no respect for people's life. So it's like nothing for you if you don't commit one, nothing for you to come out and commit another one, and another one, and another one. At what point does the system not stop and say, hold on now? How many times I got to see you before? At what point? And the police often say that it's just the same handful of people committing these crazy crimes, you know. It's not like we have a large portion of the population who are allegedly committing these crimes. Same handful of people doing foolishness. But as fast as they put them before the courts, they right back on the street to create more havoc. Now, I agree that our problem really is a social and spiritual problem. Okay, I'm not disputing that, just for the record. Okay, because we have a situation right now where a 17-year-old was shot by the police the other day, lost his life, allegedly caught up in the act of an armed robbery. Right? The police say this gun battle ensued when he and another accomplice allegedly came to rob a business establishment. Didn't expect the plainclothes officer to be in there. Gun battle ensues, spills out into the street. They allegedly hit him. He falls to the ground and allegedly still shooting at the police from the ground. And this is when they say they shot him and took his life. 17 years old. Now, I heard a clip on the news today. Well, yesterday the father was saying clearly this son of theirs was no saint because he was talking to the young man and telling him, your life just ain't making no sense. You can't continue like this. But I heard a clip from the mother of the young man who died on the news this morning. And her thing was why the police had to shoot him to kill him because he was already injured on the ground. So what harm could he have done while being injured on the ground? Now the police say he was on the ground but still shooting at them. And I get it. That's her child. She's a mother. She's going to love her child. But at what point do we not look and say, okay, yeah, that was my child, but my child was wrong? Because first of all, your child allegedly goes into a place to rob it with a gun, with bullets. That's the first beginning. Then your child is allegedly going to be shooting at police. That's the second challenge. And then allegedly, even after injured, still shooting at the police. And you here sitting up here talking about why they had to shoot him like that because he was on the ground. We got to do better as a society, yo. This right here ain't making no sense. This ain't making no sense. I'm going to read a couple of your comments. So, Citizens for a Better Commonwealth in the Bahamas says that's exactly where the justice system will fail because you can't change someone who has already made up their minds. Okay? They're also saying Ask the question, why would a young man want to go and rob a store or feel the need to commit an armed robbery? Again, I'm not saying that we don't have social ills or spiritual ills in this country. Clearly, we do. But a big part of the problem is you always hear about my good son when these people know that you're in doing foolishness. And we as a society, we quick to get on the police. And I ain't saying the police aren't without fault in some cases. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying the police is a perfect organization. But when you're going to have someone actively shooting at the police, like, what you expect them to do? Stand there and be target practice? D'Amico says tougher penalties and bail conditions for criminals would deter many would-be criminals. Law and order should prevail in society without fear or favor. Citizens says, let's be honest, we, but it's every man and woman for themselves. Well, if that's the kind of society we want to live in, then we get what we deserve to get. But we can't continue down this road we're heading down now. We just can't. This system is broken on so many levels. Yes, from the home front, we have issues. We know this. We know that we are failing from the home front in many instances. From a spiritual standpoint, failing miserably. We know this. But I dare say I feel for the police. Because every single day, they put their lives on the line to go out there and try to keep me and you safe. And again, I'm not saying that they are a perfect organization, because Lord knows they got their own challenges. But if as fast as they put them before the courts, they let them right back out, how? If we have to go and find more people while dealing with the social and spiritual aspect of the problem, I'm not saying to ignore that. We gotta fix this problem of this backlog of cases. We can't just let it linger like that. Because otherwise, we should continue to expect to see the kind of carnage that we're seeing on our streets. We have a call on the line. Call over to the GPS.
Good day and God bless, Michelle. How you doing?
Same to you, JT. I'm good. How are you?
Pretty good, Thank God for life. And good
Amen.
afternoon to the Bahamas.
Mm-hmm.
I just understood from Jason that you guys are off on radio because I couldn't hear.
Yeah.
And I'm able to catch you on YouTube. Finally, I think I finally got it figured out.
Okay.
Yeah. I have a question for you, Michelle, regarding love. You were just talking just now about the mother, and how she was responding about her son being shot dead by the police, lying on the ground and all.
Yes.
And you made an observation that, well, as a mother, she loves her child.
Mm-hmm.
My question is, does loving somebody mean that you would or should allow them to do wrong? Or is that love?
No.
Because I remember growing up, the old folks, your parents back then and the old folks, when they used to spank you for doing wrong, they say, son,
this hurts me more than hurt you.
Exactly. It hurt me more than it hurt you.
Mm-hmm.
And I am doing this not because I hate you, but because I love you to the point that I do not want to see your life go out of control. So what I'm trying to understand is, how can anybody really and truly think that taking up for a relative who's done wrong or is doing wrong is really loving that person?
Well, JT, you will have people who know they children doing wrong, bringing the contraband into the house. They know they're doing wrong,
Hmm.
but because they benefiting from the wrong what their children doing, they turn the other eye and in some cases encourage the children to do wrong.
And I, sadly and unfortunately, that's true. But Michelle, again, for a mother, and like say, mothers naturally would have that mother's love for their children, or should naturally do. But when you know that your child is out there doing something, bringing home stuff that they didn't buy, you ain't know where to get the money from, you ain't know where to buy the stuff or to get the stuff from, and you are protecting them and guarding them and cuddling them, you don't really love that child. You may have feelings for that child because you birthed him or her into this world, but that's not love. I mean, I find it, I tend to cringe many times when I hear the response, "Oh, my good son, oh, my good child." But
Always
that
my
same,
good son.
pardon?
Always my good son.
Yeah, always the good, but the and sadly, Michelle, that same good child or good son he disrespects that very mother. He talks to that mother bad. He disrespects that mother in the front of people. He don't even call her mom. He calls her my old lady. The height of disrespect. But yet, my good son.
I mean, in some cases they may be, good to their parents for real, but my
I,
God, man, if you know your child doing wrong, don't
I
expect the rest of us to,
to accept it exactly to go along with that.
no.
Because Michelle, you said it correctly that what we're dealing with right now is a spiritual and a social problem. But it's also too a problem with the law not being what the law is supposed to be. In the book Timothy, First Timothy chapter 1, I believe, verses 4 through 8, the law, God makes it very plain that the law was not made for the righteous, but for those who are lawless, who are breaking the law. And there are many acts of lawlessness noted in that passage of Scripture that the Bible speaks about, that the law is there for. So the lawmakers of this country have really and truly got to get serious about putting teeth in the law or keeping teeth in the law. Because, Michelle, for an alleged or an actual murderer, to be coming out of prison and committing another crime, same crime, and doing it 3 and 4, something wrong with the law or the system of justice.
The system.
And Michelle, see, we have become in the Bahamas so internationally minded now that too many people are becoming like bleeding hearts for the wrong causes and the wrong reasons.
Boy, you said it.
And I mean, I don't know. An 83-year-old woman could get raped by a 19-year-old. Where's the outcry
That's what I
against the rape
want
of that 83-year-old? Where is it? That's a grandmother. That's somebody's grandmother. Michelle, that's my mother's age. My mom's gonna be that age this year. Michelle, let me see. I cannot see. I cannot see. But I would die to protect my mother. Okay? I would die to protect my mother. She may not have been the best mother in the world, but no mother is. But my mother sweated and toiled for all of her children. For some doped up, demon possessed idiot to come out there and do something like that, I would die for my mother. And I could say, Michelle, I could get more graphic than that, but I'm not going to because I don't want to put you and your station in trouble. But we got to get so righteously angry in this country that anything that looks like crime, this country says, look, either you go or you will be made to go. And I'm talking about society saying this now, not vigilantism. We as a society got to get so angry and so tired. Because, Michelle, I always refer to the experience with my grandparents, both of whom more than 40 years ago were both murdered at the same time. My grandparents, the murderers, haven't been brought to justice yet. Everybody wants the criminals to get away. Everybody wants to defend the rights of the criminal. Everybody wants the human rights organization standing up for the rights of the criminal. But where's the rights of the mother whose child was murdered, whose husband, whose wife, as a family member, was murdered? Who's going to stand up for them? Or who is standing up for them? One of the things I hate to hear leaders of this country say when they say it, oh, the Bahamian people, y'all ain't crying out. Y'all ain't making enough noise. For one, we ain't supposed to be making noise, per se. If the lawmakers see the law being broken, they are supposed to be carrying out the law. But there are many times and many instances wherein you and I, as Bahamians, cried out, and the lawmakers still didn't listen. Still didn't listen. Because how many times can you and I, the public, cry for capital punishment to be carried out? But yet you don't see them doing it. How many times we got to remind them that God says, if a man takes the life of another, by man shall his life be required. How many times must we say these things before the lawmakers listen? You know, Michelle, I don't know. This country, the only thing I can say right now as to why we're having all of these problems is that we've allowed the devil to fool many of us and to begin to run amok in many people's lives, because the things that a lot of Bahamians are doing today against the law can only be described as demonic. Michelle?
Siobhan on Facebook says the Bible is being fulfilled. This country is under attack from the spirit of darkness. God is tired. We must repent, people.
Well, he's right about the Bahamas being attacked spiritually. Because anytime you see a society that's been so peaceful as we've been traditionally, and now is suffering 50 years later, what we are now suffering, that is a spiritual attack. God is peace. The devil is destruction. Wherever you see peace, essentially, God is there. Even though he may not be acknowledged by a lot of people who are experiencing that peace, the spirit of peace is there. When you see genuine peace exist, and when you see evil rampaging the way it's rampaging around this town, that's the devil. And the devil don't care nothing about the people he's using. The devil don't care nothing about the lives that are being lost when they are foolishly getting caught up in the things that they allow the devil to fool them into doing. The devil don't care about no human being.
You know, speaking
and yet
of
so many
which,
people are fucking up to him.
speaking of which, a very sad situation. Talking about not caring for the people. That case of the teenager who at the time was 14, stabbed another teenager at school in the back. And the teenager that was stabbed died. And that child who committed the act was just found guilty of murder, and is now awaiting sentencing. And his argument was that his lawyer was arguing self-defense because he claims he took the knife to school because he had received death threats from other students, and video does show that he was attacked by a group of students. Unfortunately, the child that was stabbed to death was not one of the attackers, but the young man. The young man claims that he thought he was in the group, and that's why he stabbed him. So now you've got all these lives that have been. His life is pretty much ruined. The attacker, an innocent young man, lost his life, wasn't even involved in those who were physically assaulting him. You know, it's just so sad.
Yeah, it's tragic.
You know?
And you see, Michelle, oh God. I mean, I everybody has the right to defend him or herself. We all do, by law and by God. You have the right to defend yourself. But if you're going to take a weapon to school, couldn't you have just as easily go to the principal or go to the police and report this person or these people who you are in fear of?
We don't know whether he did or not. Maybe he did.
Well, that is true. We gotta assume, or given the benefit of the doubt, that he did. But Michelle, oh Lord, all I can say, my dear, I don't know.
It's just sad
My fellow
all around.
Bahamians, pardon?
It's just sad all around, and it is a spiritual attack.
It is. The devil is running rampant on humanity all over this globe, not just the Bahamas, but we live here, so this is home for us. But Michelle, I should say, my fellow Bahamians, please, you ain't gotta acknowledge God, even though God wants you to. You ain't gotta go to church, even though it's good to do so. But all God wants is for us, His creation, to acknowledge Him and to do the things that He knows will bring peace and prosperity to the land that He's given us to live in, called the Bahamas. When we do what God asks us to do, abiding by His principles, we will enjoy the benefits of His blessings. But when we don't do what God wants us to do, whether it's personal, whether it's societal, whether it's national, and of course global, then we are gonna suffer the things we are suffering. God doesn't want us to suffer, but the devil doesn't care that we're suffering. I mean, why can't we get it? I know spiritually a lot of people are blind, because the Bible says that the world is blinded by darkness. That's what the Bible basically teaches. The devil is telling them and influencing them to do A, B, C, X, Y, Z, but they can't see the devil. So yes, that's spiritual blindness. But my fellow Bahamians, you are worthy. You are loved by a God who created you. You have value. You've got worth. The devil don't care about them things. That's why he's coming at you and me and all of us. The way he's coming, he don't care about us. But God does. And all we need to do is to start sharing love to one another, telling one another, look, you matter. No matter how bad things are in your life, you matter. Your life has value. Your life has worth. You are precious. You are worth something. You are somebody. Anybody who tells anybody that they are nobody, that person even know who they are, saying that negative nonsense, because God never made nobody. Thank you for your time, Michelle. This is for me very upsetting today.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I appreciate you calling. We got so much work to do, but it really it reminds me of the song by the Visionaries.
Oh yeah.
If you want a brand new world, you gotta have a brand new people. If you want a brand new people,
yep,
you gotta have a brand new life. If you have a brand new life,
You
want
gotta
a
have a
brand new
brand
life,
new
you gotta have a brand new spirit.
spirit.
And if
If
you
you
want
want
a
a brand
brand
new
new
spirit,
spirit, you finish
you
it.
gotta come to Jesus Christ. And Michelle,
Bottom
there
line.
really and truly is
Bottom
no
line.
other way. There is no other way. There is no other way to happiness, peace, and safety. But God, in and through Christ, by the Holy Spirit, there is none. I've made so many mistakes in my life that I regret, Michelle, but the one
We all have. We all have.
God, I know that God is real. I've proven God. I know God real. So nobody can ever fool me to tell me God don't exist. But God bless you, Michelle. You have a wonderful, wonderful, blessed day and a wonderful weekend.
Thanks for calling, JT. All right, we are long past time for a break, so let's take this break. When we continue, we're going to, when we come back, we're going to continue with our open line show, where you sort of help to direct us along the way as to what we're going to talk about today. But I just have to start there. We got some work to do, people. We got some work to do. We'll be back after these words from our sponsors.
Global Paradigm Shift will return after this.
Understanding your microbiome, also known as your gut ecosystem, can change everything you thought you knew about nutrition, digestion, immunity, and metabolism. Keeping your gut ecosystem healthy and balanced is essential. Ultimate Microbiome by Longevity was specifically formulated to optimize this ecosystem. It provides the advanced support your gut needs through prebiotic, probiotic, and postbiotic supplementation. Our unique blend of probiotics includes Lactobacillus and Plantarum, healthy bacteria that can help prevent harmful bacteria from taking over your gut. Increasing your gut's population of beneficial bacteria creates a more balanced gut microbiome, which has been shown to aid in weight loss, skin health, sleep, mood, and may even help with seasonal allergies. Ultimate Microbiome also promotes the production of postbiotics. Postbiotics are key to help regulate your gastrointestinal health. To enhance digestion, Digizyme Multi-Enzyme Complex, a blend of 5 specific enzymes, has been added to Ultimate Microbiome. It can help break down food so your body can better absorb nutrients. Plus, we've added our proprietary I-26 Hyperimmune Egg Powder to aid in the elimination of disease-causing gut bacteria and help your body balance its immune response. Ultimate Microbiome, the scientific, proprietary, and holistic approach to gut health that helps optimize your body's entire gut ecosystem. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
Welcome to Sunshine Auto, the hardest place on the planet for a rim fence and tires.
We are your auto superstore for rims, Lexani, Azaras, Trueform, Western, Lux, Fuel, Trackline, Tough, Rough Racing, Velocity, Mud, All-Terrain, and low-profile tires, cars, homes, and commercial window tinting. At Sunshine Auto, we put God first and customer is king.
Blessed love.
To stay healthy, it's crucial to make sure you get the nutrition you need every day. But it's difficult to get all your recommended vitamins and minerals from food alone. Even in the United States, 94% of people are deficient in at least one nutrient. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 by Longevity is a simple, convenient, and affordable way to help your body get the essential nutrients it needs. It's an advanced plant-driven multivitamin mineral complex that contains certified organic whole foods, trace minerals, and antioxidants. BTT 2.0 supports your body's natural defense system with a proprietary blend of energy-boosting and body-loving nutrients, plus prebiotics, probiotics, amino acids, and enzymes that support digestion. With an unusually high ORAC score of 8,000, you get even more antioxidants to help combat free radicals that can cause damage to your cells. But to get the most benefit and value from any multivitamin, your body must be able to break down the nutrients so you can fully absorb them. Otherwise, they'll just pass through your system without doing any good. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 was specially formulated with synergizing cofactors to ensure you get maximum nutrient absorption. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 is the easiest way to give your body the balance and complete daily vitamin mineral supplement it needs for optimal support of your overall health. To learn more, contact your longevity associate.
This portion of GPS is brought to you by Tiki Bikini Hut at Junkanoo Beach. Great food, cool tropical drinks, and family fun in the sun.
Okay, I was muted all that time. All right. So yeah, we are streaming live on YouTube and on Facebook, uh, on the official Michelle Malcolm and Global 99.5 FM Facebook pages. And you can also catch us on 3260271, 3260271, 3260272, 3260272. We're still down on radio here in New Providence due to technical difficulties. Hopefully we will get that all sorted out sooner than later and be back on radio here in New Providence. But we are coming to you live from Grand Bahama, so you can actually tune into us by radio there. We're also down and not on Cable Bahamas channel 974 as we normally would be. But Facebook is up, YouTube is up, and of course you can call in either by phone or by WhatsApp. Also send us a message. So this is a TGIF Open Line show where we're looking at the week that was. I want to read a couple of comments before I go to the next clip that I pulled, unless, of course, you guys decide to take it in another direction. Let's see. Let me read this one. It says, this is from Citizens for a Better Commonwealth of the Bahamas. Christ said it on the cross, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. Don't forget, my Lord is writing. He's writing all the time. You know, talking about forgiveness. I attended a prayer breakfast, an international prayer breakfast this morning. I was invited by Dr. David Allen and decided that I wanted to be at this prayer breakfast this morning. And they had invited guests from all over the world that came in to be a part of this event. And one of the persons who actually spoke before I had to leave to go attend another meeting was a former Prime Minister of Ethiopia. And as he told his story, everyone was so moved in the room. As he told his story, he describes how at the age of 17, he and his best friend decided to do something to try to take their country back because they figured that the system that was governing their country at the time was not working for the people. The people were suffering while, you know, I guess only a handful of people were benefiting from the resources of the country. So they decided to take matters into their own hands. And they started with a group of 17 young people who were like-minded, moved up into the mountains or in some remote area, and started with small groups recruiting. At the time, he was an atheist, didn't believe in God, And their idea was that they would go through the route of socialism and communism to try to bring change for their people. Long story short, what started with a group of 17 people mushroomed over 2 years to 150,000 strong, and they were able to topple their government, replace their government. He became the prime minister, and his best friend became the president. And here they are running the country when he realizes that socialism and communism isn't the answer. And so, because his people still weren't benefiting, the people still were suffering, so he decided to start to speak against that particular system. Long story short, the person who was his best friend, who was now president, had him arrested, thrown into jail, where he was serving a 12-year sentence in very difficult conditions and what you call it, isolation. And he said it was a very, very difficult existence, a very small, dark cell, handcuffed or cuffed at the feet the entire time, even while he's behind bars. He described it. And he talked about how someone from the outside, well, before that happened, he said he tried to commit suicide twice while in prison, failed both times, survived both times. And a nurse from the prison came to him one day and said, I love you, my son, and Jesus loves you. He's like, Jesus? Who is Jesus? He'd never even heard of a Jesus. And she gave him a tract. And he said he read the tract. And one of the thing that caught his attention on the tract is it said, Jesus loves you and wants to give you a new life. And he knew that he wanted a new life. He knew that he would not survive in that prison. He wanted a new life. But he still had his doubts. And so one day he says, okay, Jesus, whoever you may be, if you are real, show yourself to me. He said nothing happened. Hours later, he went to sleep. In the middle of the night, he wakes up, and what is normally a pitch black, very small cell was lit up like the sun was in there. And he saw what he described as it looked like bubbles. And in these bubbles were all these different shades of light and color. And he thought that he was hallucinating, maybe because of the harsh treatment, that maybe it was taking its toll on his mind or his body or whatever. So even though he was afraid and confused, he turned his back to face the wall of his cell, brick wall. And all of a sudden, the brick wall becomes light, just this bright light. And he sees this figure within this light that looks like the figure of a man, but it's light. And he heard an audible voice say to him, this was such a powerful testimony this morning. He heard an audible voice say to him, I am Jesus, and I am the way to a new life. Believe me, believe in me, and I will give you a new life. And then everything went back to darkness, to black. He said he woke up the next day, he thought, okay, this person is really starting to play with my mind, because that only could have been some kind of hallucination or something. So he didn't quite buy it. He says he said out loud, okay, Jesus, if that really was you, if you're really real, do it again. Show up again. That night, same thing happened. He's awoken in the middle of the night. His dark cell is all lit up with all this light. The light shines. He hears a voice. I am Jesus, and if you believe in me, I will give you a new life. So the next day he wakes up and he's like, okay, this can't be an hallucination, because it wouldn't be the same hallucination twice in a row. But he still was a little shaky. wasn't quite ready to put his belief into this Jesus. Third night, same thing happened again. So the next day he says, okay, I'm in. I don't know what it means. I don't know how to follow you. I don't know none of that because remember now he was an atheist, had never even heard of Jesus before that woman gave him the drug. He said he reached out to the nurse. The nurse shared with him, prayed with him, gave him a Bible, and this is what began his journey on his Christian life. But Jesus had said to him in that vision, if you believe in me, I will get you out of this place and start you onto a new life. And he languished in jail, I think he said, for 7 more years. Still believing, still reading his word. But he questioned, okay, you promised me that you would get me out of this place. Why am I still here? And he said, the Holy Spirit said to him, there's one thing that is keeping you here, and it is unforgiveness. Because he said within his heart, he knew that whenever he got out of that jail, he was going to find his way to his best friend, his former best friend, who was the president of the country, and he was going to kill him because they had done him such wrong by wrongfully imprisoning him only because he had differing views from them. He said he was determined he was going to kill him. And the Lord said to him, you have to forgive him. He finally decided, okay, I'm going to forgive him. But before he got let out of jail, this is so powerful, he said somebody contacted him from the outside and said, listen, they're about to bring a killer, a known killer, to share your cell with you because they will send him there to kill you. They want you dead. So he says, he's like, okay, what am I going to do? I'm in this prison. I don't have no way to defend myself. This man is notorious for killing, must see 20-something people. Lord, what am I supposed to do? How am I going to survive this? This ain't what you promised me. So the Lord said to him, just love him. What do you mean just love him? He coming to kill me. Just love him. Okay. Sure enough, this notorious killer shows up to share a cell with him. He says he started by sharing whatever food was brought, whatever food he had, he would share it with him. He started giving him whatever little clothing he had, he would share it with him. He said this guy was looking at him with the other side eye and saying, you know I could kill you, right? You know I hate you, right? Why are you doing this? So I want you to know that I love you and Jesus loves you. Jesus? Who's Jesus? And so that opened the door for him to share the news of the gospel. He kept loving on this man. And when I say loving, don't get it twisted. Don't come here with no perversion. I ain't talking about no kind of sexual thing. I'm talking about just being kind to this man. Eventually, the man who came in his cell to kill him accepted Christ and was transferred out of the cell because clearly he failed to do what they sent him there to do. He went back to the block of the prison that he came from and transformed that entire block with the gospel of love. Transformed the entire block. Long story short, he eventually got out of prison and became a pastor. Now one of the leading pastors in Ethiopia. So this gentleman, that's a former prime minister who's been jailed wrongly, gets out of prison, and he finds his way to the presidential palace and asks to see the president, his former friend. And he said to his, because he figured that he coming to beg for his old job back. He said he went in there He walked up to him and he said, I want you to know that I love you and I forgive you. And Jesus loves you as well. So he was like, what? He couldn't believe that after this man had spent all this time, and I mean, the worst of the worst as it relates to conditions in that prison, that he would walk in there and say, I forgive you. And he said something powerful happened when he spoke those words. Because for more than 12 years, he had been locked up in a physical prison. But the moment he forgave that man, he realized that he was now free of an even more dangerous prison, and that's the prison of unforgiveness. It was so powerful in that prayer breakfast this morning. And one of the things that he talked about is if you want to transform your nation, because there's a lot of people crying out for this nation to be transformed. He says, instead of pointing your finger at the politician and the government and the church and this one, the home, and the next one, and it's everybody else's fault, start by looking in the mirror. You change you first. What are some of the things that you need to do to make yourself a better person? That's the first step. Because we are very good in this country at pointing our finger at everybody else to say they at fault. But what about us? Like Michael Jackson said, I'm looking at the man in the mirror and asking him to change his ways. What about changing you? Right? That's where it begins. That and loving your neighbor as you love yourself. Forgiveness. And he talked about the power of forgiveness. He said, he didn't realize that he was in two prisons, the physical one and the one that unforgiveness was holding him down. I often say that not forgiving is like you drinking poison and then you waiting for the other person who you refuse to forgive to die. You drinking the poison and you looking at them wondering, okay, when you can drop dead now. Forgiveness is not for the other person, it's for you. And oftentimes, we don't see breakthrough in our lives or in our homes or in our communities or in our nation because we worrying about what the other person did that was so wrong. Maybe it's time for us to look at ourselves and see how we are contributing to the problem. Maybe it's time that we start loving our neighbors as ourselves, because if you love your neighbors yourself, you ain't gonna starve yourself. Unless you got a serious mental problem, you're gonna treat yourself well, eh? If you love your neighbors, you love yourself, how you can steal from them? How you can beat them and rape them? How you can do all these other horrible things that we're doing to our fellow neighbors if you truly love them? And then for those of us who have experienced wrong, we've been the victim of it, we gotta forgive. Because if you don't forgive, you are locked up in prison. And 9 times out of 10, that other person that they're living their life, in some cases, they don't even know you're holding something against them. And in some cases, they know and just don't care. How long are we going to allow ourselves to be held in that prison? A lot of these murders are happening now because I ain't taking last. Revenge. Vengeance. I got to kill you because you killed somebody I love. And then somebody got to kill you because you killed somebody who you love. It's just crazy. But this is what is happening in our society, people. We got to find a way to turn this around. And, you know, to the point that was made earlier by one of our Facebook viewers, you're right. This is a bigger problem than just getting more judges or more courthouses or bigger jails. You're right. Social and spirituality, that's where it begins. And we cannot have a solution to our problems if we don't address both of those as well. But it starts not with you pointing your fingers at the police or the church or the home or the government or the prime minister or this one or the next one. It starts with you looking at yourself. One of the things that the gentleman spoke about during that prayer breakfast this morning is how they were able to build a military of 150,000 just starting with small groups. And that small group would go and then work with another small group and so on and so on. And he pointed out that that's what Jesus did. Jesus didn't start with this whole bunch of people. He started with a group of 12. And from those 12 people, the entire world was impacted with the message of the gospel. So what can we do as individuals? How many people can we come together with? Small groups. Don't be. We always looking for the big numbers. We don't feel like we're accomplishing something unless we got 1,000 people behind us. How about we start with small groups and infiltrate our homes, our neighborhoods, our communities, our nation, our region, the world. Just a thought. We're going to take a break. On the other side of the break, we're going to look at more stories that are making the news. Stay with us. This is GPS.
Global Paradigm Shift will return after this.
Your body's immune system is under constant pressure from things like stress, lack of exercise, and toxins in the environment. It's crucial to be proactive and support your immune system with the nutrients it needs to function effectively. But it's often hard to get these nutrients from food alone. Introducing fast-acting Zinc Plus Immune Support by Longevity. Unlike zinc-only supplements, Zinc Plus Immune Support builds on the proven power of zinc and adds complementary nutrients to give your immune system extra support. Vitamin D helps balance the effects of zinc, while our proprietary blend of natural fruit and root extracts provides the extra help your immune system needs to work against daily stressors. And we've included Longevity's exclusive plant-derived minerals to give your body the minerals it needs but can't get from food alone. And because Zinc Plus Immune Support is delivered in a great-tasting sugar-free berry-flavored lozenge, it encourages quicker absorption of all these nutrients into your body. Zinc Plus Immune Support. Zinc plus the extra support your body needs to promote a healthy immune system. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
Welcome to Sunshine Auto, the hardest place on the planet for rims, paints, and tires.
We are your auto superstore for rims, Lexani, Azaras, Trueform, Western, Lux, Fuel, Tracklight, Tough, Rough Racing, Velocity, Mud, All-Terrain, and low-profile tires. Cars, homes, and commercial window tinting. At Sunshine Auto, we put God first and customer is king.
Last is love.
It's gotten harder and harder to get your daily requirement of vital nutrients from food alone. Without additional vitamin and nutrient support, your health and well-being can suffer drastically. That's why Z Radical was specifically formulated. It combines a blend of antioxidant-rich vitamins, minerals, and botanicals with the protective powers of fucoidan to help fill the gaps from lack of nutrients in your foods. The core of Z Radical is fucoidan, a naturally occurring polysaccharide that helps stimulate immune reaction, protecting you against inflammation and oxidative stress. We harvest this powerful mineral-rich nutrient from brown seaweed, harvested only from the world's most pristine ocean waters to ensure the purest quality. It's then extracted using cold process technology to ensure maximum levels of bioavailability. Then we add essential vitamins that help to protect your cardiovascular and nervous systems and are crucial for optimal immune and neurological function. Z Radical also includes a proprietary blend of delicious antioxidant-rich fruits and berries. This great-tasting combination helps your body combat free radical imbalances that can contribute to a variety of degenerative conditions like arthritis and heart disease. Z Radical. Experience the power of fucoidan with antioxidant-rich berries, 8 essential vitamins, and more to provide you with potent health benefits. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
Welcome back to GPS, Global Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5 FM. Michelle Malcolm in your company on this TGIF Open Line show. The numbers to call are 3260271, 3260271, 3260272, 3260272, the WhatsApp line, 8010271, 8010271. That line, you can either send a message or call in. We are streaming live on Facebook on the official Michelle Malcolm and Global 99.5 FM pages, as well as on our official YouTube channels. We're not on cable Bahamas channel 974 or radio due to technical difficulties. We do apologize for that. And we will hopefully get that sorted out sooner than later, but you are still able to hear us coming in by radio from Grand Bahama. And you still have the option to download the Global 99.5 FM app and listen to us there. So before I go to my next clip, and again, whatever you guys want to talk about, that's what we'll talk about today. So it's not just limited to the clips that I prepared, but you know me, I like to try to be prepared as much as possible. So I want to read this comment. Vernon says, Michelle, you sound like Eve in the Garden of Eden trying to explain away the apple debacle. Well, Vernon, if that's all you got out of that, I invite you to come up a little higher. That's the most diplomatic way I could say what I want to say. Come up a little higher, because you're a little shallow right now. If that's all you get out of that, yeah, I invite you to come up a little higher, okay? That's all I'm going to say on that. And you know, I don't expect everybody to get it. So maybe you're just one of them people who just ain't gonna get it. Who that message was for will get it. But if that's all you hear, come up a little higher. All right, so Bertha says, wow. Bertha, that's all you could say. Anyhow, yeah. So I was really moved by that whole message during that thing this morning. It was very, very powerful, just to say the least. Oh, and for the record, the president who had him locked up also gave his life to Christ, and they ended up back together again, working side by side, but this time to transform the nation, not from a political standpoint per se, but from a spiritual standpoint, and saw a major difference once they took on that new approach. Okay, so what else is going on? So as you know, the debate for the budget is underway in the House of Assembly. Several ministers and members of parliament have already made their contributions to the budget debate. I have a whole bunch of clips from a whole bunch of ministers, but they had a little interesting exchange. That's a nice way of putting it. In the House of Assembly between the government side and the opposition side. Now, I'll tell you all this before I play this clip. You know, when I was a young reporter, when I first got signed to the House of Assembly, oh my God, I was so excited. Oh my goodness, I'm going to cover the House of Assembly. This is a big deal for me. I went in there with such anticipation. I don't remember what the row was about. But the parliamentarians at that time, they were rowing about. There had been some kind of if I remember correctly, there had been some kind of by-election, and they were rowing about not allowing that particular person who won the by-election to be sworn in or something like that. This is a long time ago, as you can imagine. They carried on so bad in the House of Assembly that day. I sat there in disbelief, and I was like, I mean, I lost so much. I had held this in such high esteem. And after the way they carried on in the House that day, I looked at them and I was like, blow me down. This is what I was excited to come cover. I lost so much respect for them that day, and I realized that it's not the people in the House that are honorable, it's the House itself that's honorable. Because, you know, you got a lot of them who thrive on this, the honorable this and the honorable that, but they anything but honorable. I said it to say, I want you to check out this little tiff. What took place in the House yesterday.
We did not breach the law, that we put what the law obligated us to put in the report.
Members of the Free National Movement and government getting into a war of words today in the lower chamber. At the crux of that argument, $1 billion of government liabilities that the PLP says the Minnis administration failed to give an account for. Prime Minister Philip Davis has gone on record to note that an accredited accounting agency discovered that $1 billion remains unaccounted for in a pre-election financial report produced by the Minnis administration.
And we just didn't want to take it from. We hired an independent accounting firm to tell us why that, to look into it. They look into it and they confirm, yes, there was this unrecorded sum that was not included in the report. Let's accept that. Then what they went on to say, in attempting to understand why it was not recorded because the then administration believed it should not have been.
Last year, Prime Minister Davis told Parliament that the $1 billion, which was absent in that report, was linked to debt and interest payments, which he says the Davis administration is currently still paying off. But the Prime Minister says the issue is that the Minnis administration claims their interpretation of the report's requirements are different.
Roman numeral 8 calls for, quote, outstanding stock of arrears for all government entities, including showing separately all new unpaid invoices since the stock of arrears was reported. The same is applicable for mid-year reviews. Now, here is the key, what I kept saying, and I don't know why you're dancing, but let me just read it. There are fundamental differences in the interpretation of this section between the former senior leadership responsible for the reproduction of the election report and those responsible for producing current reports. That's clear? We understand what that means? Do we understand what that means? Yeah, I'm talking to you.
But FNM leader Michael Pintard interjected that the Prime Minister comments lack proper context.
When the Prime Minister raised this issue, it landed like a ton of bricks in the public domain because he gave the impression to the general public that the FNM, they could not find, in fact, was the context in which he made the statement. They could not find $1 billion. Put the article to me. They could not $1 billion.
MP for East Grand Bahama Kwesi Thompson also refusing to back down today. He says the opposition has done nothing wrong.
Originally said in this, and this was what this side had taken issue with, that we had breached the law as to what should be included in the pre-election report. That is not what this report says. This report says that it was a difference in interpretation, and if there was a difference in interpretation and we on this side still stand by that interpretation.
I guess all things considered, they didn't carry on as bad as some that have had these differences of opinion in the House of Assembly. But, I don't know how you all feel, right? But I a little tired of this whole thing of we ain't as bad as y'all. So, Bahamian people, if you want, choose the best of us, we ain't as bad as them. Every single administration does it. They come in and instead of focusing on what they're going to do to build and restore this nation, they come in with, well, this is what they was doing, and we as bad as them. And then the next one got to get up and say, yeah, but y'all do the same thing, and y'all do waste, and yeah, but we ain't as bad as you, and you ain't as bad as us. And I even ain't gonna touch the $1 billion. I even ain't gonna touch that. If y'all want to touch it, y'all can touch it. I even ain't gonna touch that because that's a whole lot of kettle of fish. Right? A whole $1 billion. When are we gonna get to the point where we realize that if you saying I ain't as bad as you still saying I bad. I just ain't as bad as you. But that's an admission that we both bad. It's just that you got to choose between bad and waste. Because they all do it. Again, I haven't even touched the $1 billion. Because that's just, that right there, it's mind-blowing. And you know how we go in this country. We can justify that or not justify it, depending on which side of the political divide be on. We all know the game. If my party in power, there's nothing wrong with it. If your party in power, then you broke the law. You this, you the next. So we know that this country is deeply divided based on politics. We know that. So we know some of y'all are there right now justifying this quote unquote missing $1 billion. On the other side saying somebody need to go to jail. I get all of that. That's why I right now, in the frame of mind I'm in, I don't even want to touch the $1 billion because that's a show all by itself. But we got to get to the point, people, where we demand more as an electorate. Because if you coming to me and you telling me, well, yeah, I got my issues, but I ain't as bad as him, that's still making you bad. I don't want to have to choose between bad and waste. To me, that's no choice. We need an option where we ain't choosing between bad and worse. Because it's still bad. So, I don't know how you guys are there feel. But I really think we are long overdue to stop this practice of see how bad they were. I know we ain't bought a stamp. You know, we got allegations against us, but we ain't bought a stamp. We got to stop this, people. We got to stop this merry-go-round madness that seems to have taken a grip on this nation. And I am not promoting any particular movement or third party or anything like that. I'm just speaking generally, hypothetically. Okay, so don't take what I'm saying as no endorsement or nothing, because I ain't trying to get caught up in that. But my God, we got to get beyond this nonsense. We have a call on the line. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Good evening, Miss Malcolm. How are you doing?
Hi, good. How are you?
Thank God for life as usual, Pop here. Miss
Hey,
Malcolm, everything cool. Thank God for life. Miss Malcolm, I just can listen, but you ask, you don't know, you want to know what we think about it. You see, sometimes I feel like I know the majority of people ain't that way, but this almost come across like a gangster society.
Hmm.
I feel like there should be a way. All right, some people say, let's just deal with the PLP and the F&M, get rid of them and give someone else a chance, right?
Mm-hmm.
But suppose they come doing the same thing. I know we can't just think that way and don't do nothing. But if we do something, right, and we do get rid of those two parties, tell them goodbye and good riddance, the majority of us, right, thinking behemoths, we need some kind of punishment for whosoever coming there to understand. You know how gangster that sound? Where the $1 billion gone, Miss Malcolm?
Your guess is as good as mine, my brother.
Huh?
Your guess is as good as mine. Like I said, that's a whole other show.
Yeah. Tell me something. This week, did you hear where the leader of the official opposition was requesting or demanding that the prime minister either fire or let go anyone who appointed by the government who in arrears or who owe in national insurance for contribution, including ambassadors serving away overseas.
Mm-hmm.
I feel about that, Miss Malcolm.
How I feel about it?
But what I mean, and it's like, if there's any truth that there are persons who serving as ambassadors or being appointed by the government, they're making a salary also. Normally, like the average man, you got to get a business, like you got to do certain things to them, and unless you pay up, you don't be able to do no business like that.
Right.
So I don't know if he was just being political, but if there's any truth that we have ambassadors or persons, public servants who in arrears or who owe national insurance, that they should deal with it, or the prime minister should, huh?
I don't have any evidence one way or the other, but I would think that he would not come to the House of Assembly making those kinds of allegations if he didn't have some evidence to the contrary.
Yeah.
I would think that if it was not true, somebody would have stand up and say, bring your evidence, or it's not true. Somebody would have protested.
And I don't think it just started underneath this government. I think
exactly.
He used the opportunity, the chance to bring it out.
Right.
I kind of should feel like it ain't no politics to do with it. It's like, if it's a servant, right? They should be up to date. Just how they make us be up to date with payments and stuff. You had the deputy prime minister this week, or you ain't getting no snippets to pay?
With regard to what?
All of the prostitutes and the whores and all of the drug dealers and different people must stay from downtown, and they would be removed if they come downtown.
Mm-hmm. I don't think I pulled that clip, but yes, I know what you're talking about. Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts?
When I first listened, I thought he was being a little rough, but I think he was just rough. But what he was saying did make sense. It sounded like he was offering them persons who might choose that way to go opportunities or a better way to maybe be either doing business down there or anything rather than selling drugs or prostituting.
Well, my thing is we got to get serious if we say we want to clean up our image. It's got to be more than lip service. We got to get serious. And if it means prosecuting people who do certain crimes to keep them And I say prosecuting, I ain't talking about a little slap on the wrist. You know, in certain, and I'm not saying that we have to go this draconian, but in certain countries in the middle and in Asia that we love to talk about, say how, you know, they advancing and all this kind of stuff so much.
Miss Malcolm.
You know, if you get caught stealing, they cut off your hand. I ain't saying we gotta go that draconian, but I know one thing: they ain't got too much people teething over there.
No, or they ain't get a hand to teeth with no more.
Oh,
yeah. Hey, you know, I don't know how much take it serious or how serious you take it with the 14-year-old who's 17 maybe now, who either was convicted or the jury say he was guilty yesterday for murder.
He's 15 now.
He's 15 now. Mm-hmm. You know, that's a serious thing, you know. I feel like as a parent, it all started with, before we could even look at gangs and stuff, it's maybe the second stage is bullying. And then the first stage should have been like parents being involved with their children. I wonder, like, you know, generally speaking, if in situations like that where we have bullying, if the children should be able to communicate with their parents. And then sometimes as parents, we don't suggest the right thing to tell our children what to do. And I was wondering, like in the United States, like they were saying that the child must see in California or something, shoot the 6-year-old child, shoot the teacher. I think they lock up the parents or something, must he bring a gun from home, whatever. They saying this 14-year-old bring this knife from home, you know, and I just saying to myself, like, we got to take bullying dead serious. The police, just like how the police end up having to bringing charges against him guilty, a little minor like that. When they complain to these teachers and their parents, we can't wait for 2 days, 3 days. We got to get on these things. See, we have to have a department and all them, either with the guidance council, whatever, the police come in and stuff like that, and take these things serious because it starts from young. You understand? And see, I don't know what to say, but I mean, and gee.
Yeah, that's a very sad situation all around. Because so many lives now have been ruined by that. So many.
Yeah, I can finish. Listen, keep up the good work, Miss Malcolm. Have a nice
Thank you, Papa. You too. All right, we have to take a break. We're behind on breaks. So let's take this break, and we will continue with our open line show. Stay with us. This is GPS.
Global Paradigm Shift will return after this.
At Lee Air, safety is our #1 priority. Flying since 1996, we offer scheduled flights into Fresh Creek and Mangrove Key Andros and Great Harbor Key, Berry Island, twice daily, 7 days a week. Affordable charter services are also available to anywhere in the Bahamas and the Caribbean. Lee Air Charter Services. Call 225-3267, 702-7127, or 322-1317 for reservations.
Understanding your microbiome, also known as your gut ecosystem, can change everything you thought you knew about nutrition, digestion, immunity, and metabolism. Keeping your gut ecosystem healthy and balanced is essential. Ultimate Microbiome by Longevity was specifically formulated to optimize this ecosystem. It provides the advanced support your gut needs through prebiotic, probiotic, and postbiotic supplementation. Our unique blend of probiotics includes Lactobacillus and Plantarum, healthy bacteria that can help prevent harmful bacteria from taking over your gut. Increasing your gut's population of beneficial bacteria creates a more balanced gut microbiome, which has been shown to aid in weight loss, skin health, sleep, mood, and may even help with seasonal allergies. Ultimate Microbiome also promotes the production of postbiotics. Postbiotics are key to help regulate your gastrointestinal health. To enhance digestion, Digizyme Multi-Enzyme Complex, a blend of 5 specific enzymes, has been added to Ultimate Microbiome. It can help break down food so your body can better absorb nutrients. Plus, we've added our proprietary I-26 hyperimmune egg powder to aid in the elimination of disease-causing gut bacteria and help your body balance its immune response. Ultimate Microbiome, the scientific, proprietary, and holistic approach to gut health that helps optimize your body's entire gut ecosystem. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
For all your building needs, it's Carib Construction and Project Management on Gladstone Road. We build it all: schools, homes, hotels, and more, including structures requiring a Phase 3 electrical contractor. We also provide project management services. The first step towards your dream building begins at Carib Construction and Project Management. Call us at 376-1556 or 341-4466.
One of the things I love about the Mailboat is their relationship with Bahamas Air. I can earn travel points on my international freight and redeem them when I fly.
For me, online shopping is easy with Mailboat US addresses and regular freight delivery to Nassau. Plus, I can always prepay customs and freight, and they always notify me when my package arrives.
Yeah, a lot of people think the Mailboat is just for shipping, but they also offer a safe and secure storage facility at affordable rates, all in a central, convenient location.
We also offer passenger service into Freeport multiple times per week with a seating capacity of over 450 persons. With family movies on large screens, one hot meal included, and on-board lounge for snacks and soft drinks. We're the Mailboat. We're bridging people, products, and places.
Executive Printers is your one-stop shop for all your branding and customization needs. Letterheads, envelopes, business cards, invoices, share and gift certificates, rubber stamps, vouchers, funeral programs, brochures, flyers, banners, and promotional items like mugs, water bottles, mouse pads, and key rings, all with personable service and great quality. No project is too small or too large. For great turnaround and competitive pricing, make an executive decision. Call us at 393-5011.
And we are back. Welcome back to Global Paradigm Shift, Global 99.5 FM. Michelle Malcolm in your company on this beautiful Friday afternoon. A little overcast outside, but still beautiful nonetheless. And this is the TGIF Open Line show. So we are streaming live on Facebook on the official Global 99.5 FM page, as well as the official Michelle Malcolm page. You can also catch us on YouTube, not on Cable Bahamas Channel 974 or on radio here in New Providence due to technical difficulties that we are experiencing. They are working feverishly to get those challenges sorted out. However, we are streaming live, like I said, on Facebook, on YouTube. You can call it at 3260271. 3260271, 3260272, 3260272. The WhatsApp line for text messages and calls is 801-0271, 801-0271. We may be down here in New Providence on radio, but we are definitely being heard on radio from our audience in Grand Bahama. And a huge welcome to you guys, as always, for tuning in from all the way in Grand Bahama. You are always welcome to GPS. Why does this thing keep going off my air? Why does it behave itself today? All right, so what else is in the news? Okay, I want to read a comment before I go to this next clip. This comment is coming in from Vernon. Vernon says, there is no middle ground, Michelle. There are only moments in time, the wide road or the narrow road, regardless of where you think you are in this life. Choices have to be made, good or bad. Yeah, Vernon. But what a lot of people tend to miss is that oftentimes choices are made, poor choices are made because certain people face conditions that have skewed their way of thinking. So whereas you and your upbringing might be able to make a better choice, somebody else who did not have the privilege of that upbringing would make a poor choice based on the environment that they have come from. I mean, if you only knew some of the homes that some of these young people grow up in, and again, I'm not trying to find an excuse for anybody. Because a lot of people grow up in poverty, but they ain't killing people. They ain't robbing people. Okay? But much of it has to do with our society, where we have come to, or what we have come to, when it comes to moral decay. And that goes back to, in my opinion, and this is my opinion, I'm entitled to it just like how you're entitled to yours, a walking away from God. I believe that is at the core of the moral decay that we see in our country. And the moral decay, I believe, is at the core of many of these social ills that we are facing. And those social ills are at the core of a lot of what we see going wrong in our community, like crime. My opinion. I'm entitled to it. You're entitled to yours. Here is what the leader of the opposition, Brian says, my point, Lady Michelle. Okay. Here's what the leader of the opposition had to say recently in the House of Assembly as it relates to criminal activity in our country. Check this out.
We do not want you to get trapped with input, hiring police officers, and output, more of them on the beat. But the outcome is the figures are still going up. So we should be focused on outcome. Well, no, I mean, you can tell that story. I can just tell you, we are deeply concerned. I believe that this administration has an opportunity to call together in a crime commission. It's been recommended by all your stakeholders. Let us form a crime commission that have persons from different disciplines that can work in tandem with each other to come up with strategies to deal with prevention, with interdiction, enforcement in general, and rehabilitation. So I believe it is important that we pull together those persons and put them in a room to discuss the issues that's causing the lives of our young people. We have an opportunity. We have an opportunity to make a difference. The member for St. Barnabas and myself submitted recommendations to your administration. We remain as a team ready and willing and able to work with this administration so that we can.
Okay, so for some reason, my video is freezing. I don't know if it's my internet connection, because remember, I'm coming to you from home. We didn't get to hear all of that clip. We were very close to the end of it. But Pintar talking about what the government should be doing, or the Davis administration should be doing to better tackle crime. Sounds really good. I just wish that much of what he was suggesting was implemented when he sat in cabinet. Because wasn't even politicians now. They just have 20/20 vision when they ain't sitting in the seat of power. Oh, they got all the solution to every possible problem. I just wish you could see some of these solutions implemented when you were sitting in power. We all got to work together. That is for sure. We are not going to solve our problems pointing the finger at the previous administration or the current administration as to what they doing or ain't doing. But when you just come out the seat, when you had an opportunity to do all these things, for whatever reason, you failed to put these systems in place to eradicate crime, which, in my opinion, I'm not saying that systems can't, help to address some of the issues that we have. But when we talk in crime, we talk in the heart of mankind. And I often say, if any politician come and tell you we could solve the crime problem, and they ain't talking about the heart of mankind and how you address that, you know that's political rhetoric. Because my thing is, if you could have solved it, you should have solved it while you was there. We have a call on the line. Call about on GPS.
Good afternoon.
Hi.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. Now, I totally agree with your last settlement as relates to members of parliament in opposition versus when they were in government.
Mm-hmm.
But I find that actually in many sectors, even in being a part of unions and being a part of different committees and boards,
Mm-hmm.
that a lot of us, and I say us because again, I find myself in a position where I serve as chairman of a certain board, etc. And now I'm no longer in the chair, but now I'm seeing some things through a different eye.
Mm.
So while I do agree with you, while politicians should have the same views while they're sitting in the chair versus while they're not, I think it's also good too that now that you're not in the chair, that you can see something from a different angle
Mm.
and share them with, you're not asking the government to implement what you see.
Mm-hmm.
You're just sharing your view as relates to what you didn't see then as what you see now, or see it from a different angle.
Mm. Point well taken.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Thank you so much for calling.
Okay.
I hear you. I remember when I first started at ZNS, I was,
If you'd like to.
I always got involved in the whole fight of being a part of the union. I always believed in the power of the union. And I remember we had, fought hard and long, and then we had a meeting with Mike Smith, who was then, I think, chairman of ZNS. Ironically, I sat right next to Mike Smith this morning at that prayer breakfast. It was so good to see him. For you young uns, Google it. Mike Smith was our leading anchor when I first started at ZNS, and went on to become chairman of the corporation. Legendary. And Mike too was, prior to becoming a manager, a union man. And so one day we are thick in negotiations. And I remember somebody on my side saying, but Mike, how you could be talking against these things or fighting us against these things when you yourself helped to fight to put them in play? I'll never forget his response. He says, yeah, that's true. But now I sit in a position where I got to write the check. Now I see why they was fighting against us for these things, because I responsible for writing the check now. So, Corey, your point is well taken. Your point is well taken. I just don't want us to get to the point where we treat crime as some kind of political football, where, when I am power, there's only so much we could do, but when you in power, you're the source of the problem. Because I dare say that you have an opportunity to fix it yourself. But I get your point. All right, only a couple of minutes left. We got one more break to take. Let's take this break, and then we're going to wrap this up on the other side. Stay with us. This is GPS.
Global Paradigm Shift will return after this.
Blood sugar levels play a key role in your appetite, weight gain, and overall health. When you have a blood sugar spike, you can feel confused, dizzy, and even have increased cravings. Eating carbohydrates, sugary or fatty foods, and not exercising can all cause blood sugar spikes. But now you have help in managing blood sugar levels. Sweeties by Youngevity was designed to help support healthy blood sugar levels so you can power through your day. It's a synergistic blend of minerals, herbs, and nutrients that have been proven to support healthy blood sugar levels. Sweeties includes chromium, an essential trace mineral that's known for its contribution to healthy blood sugar levels and improved metabolism of carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. Cinnamon bark has been included for its naturally occurring antioxidants and support of a healthy heart. And we've even added gymnema. It's been used in Ayurveda for centuries to help promote healthy blood sugar. All the ingredients in Sweeties work together to give the best support available for blood sugar control. Sweeties, the blood sugar support supplement from Youngevity that helps control cravings and manage blood sugar levels through your day. To learn more, contact your Youngevity associate.
Welcome to Sunshine Auto, the hardest place on the planet for rims, paints, and tires.
We are your auto superstore for rims, Lexani, Azaras, Trueform, Western, Lux, Fuel, Tracklight, Tough, Rough Racing, Velocity, Mud, All-Terrain, and low-profile tires. Cars, homes, and commercial window tinting. At Sunshine Auto, we put God first and customer is king.
Blessed love.
As you age, factors like health, weight, diet, and lifestyle can all impact your bones, joints, and general mobility. Even everyday exercise can lead to wear and tear on your body. Over time, you might start to experience stiffness or pain due to damaged joints or connective tissue. Ultimate Glucogel by Youngevity was created to help you limit the effects of wear on your joints. It delivers a daily dose of collagen-rich gelatin your body needs for joint elasticity and maintenance. Ultimate Glucogel contains a 1-to-1 ratio of gelatin and glucosamine sulfate, which is a key building block of your bone matrix, cartilage, ligaments, tendons, and connective tissue. Gelatin's unique blend of amino acids not only help with muscle and joint health, but also has been shown to provide additional benefits for the brain, skin, and hair. Ultimate Glucogel. Natural, optimal daily support for joint health. To learn more, contact your Youngevity associate.
All right, we're just about out of time. Joe Darvel on hold. Hi, Joe. Joe, are you there?
Hello?
Hi, you on the air?
Yes, I'm on now.
Yes, you are.
Yeah, Michelle?
Yes, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, wonderful show this afternoon. It's really, really frightening, however, because we don't seem, the more we pile up police forces with all sorts of vehicles and all sorts of strategies to deal with these situations, it doesn't seem to have an inroad in curing anything whatsoever. I came to Nassau when I was 14 years old. That's like 67 years ago. At that particular point in time, about a year after I came to Nassau, I found that it was announced that someone had been killed by another person. And I never knew back in those days that any human being in the Bahamas, which is a Christian nation, could ever kill another human being. And so that's the mentality that I have. But it's a really kind of situation which calls for all sorts of tentacles. And they could say whatever they want in Parliament, but the stuff has to begin within the homes and within the schools. When I was principal of school, whether it was at Queens College, Aquinas, or Catholic High, every teacher and every principal knew every parent and every child. And if there's any sort of misbehavior, any conduct leading towards any sort of untoward behavior, we could easily have a conference with a parent. But that doesn't happen anymore whatsoever. It seems as if the young people today are actually ruling the school setting. They're ruling the principal, they're ruling the teachers, etc. And we have to come back to a fundamental issue at home and at school. And one of the major problems is that
I need you to wrap it up, Joe.
Properly.
Joe, I need you to wrap it up because it's 4 o'clock. Just go ahead and wrap it up.
Okay. Well, the thing is that we got to get fathers again in the home to be able to raise their children as they should. And if anything ever comes into a home, every father should know. But the problem is the fathers are absent from the homes. So I would really like to be with you on a show one of these days to do a whole delineation leading from way back when there was never a murder committed in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas and up through independence in 50 years ago. And now what we're going to do for another 50 years if we're not going to get control of this. So I'll be in touch with you.
I'll call you and we'll set it up. I'll call you and we'll set it up. Thank you so much for calling. Well, listen, guys, we're out of time. It's after 4 o'clock. Got to get out of here. I'm Michelle Malcolm. Thank you so much for your contribution to today's show. Next week, we're going to have another great week, hopefully, of some mind-opening shows that are going to hopefully provoke you to a higher level of thinking. Until then, let's be safe, people. Let's put down the weapons. Let's show each other love and respect. And more importantly, let's reconnect to our source. We got a Bahamas to save, y'all. Until next week, I'm Michelle Malcolm. Take care.
Global 99.5 FM reminds our listeners that